Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Let's get settled in. I'm going to give y'all a second. All right. It is a gorgeous day here in Seattle. Despite it being a little rainy earlier, it is bright and sunny. Few clouds in between, but it's a beautiful fall day here at Homemade. Y'all, I'm going to give y'all a few more minutes to settle in. And today at Homemade, we have so many cool things. We have our partner, our friend, Aroma here. We have Amy, who's going to answer all your questions in the chat.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here with you today. Happy to be with you, Chef Lisa.
I'm so excited, Chef Amy. Amy is one of the coolest people ever, and we are about to have lots of fun. Today at Homemade, by the way, I'm Chef Lisa. If y'all haven't met me before, hello, hello. I know I see a few regulars in the chat, so hello to you all. I'm so excited. We're gonna make something that can be pretty intimidating. If you've ever watched Top Chef, you're like, oh my goodness, this is the one that takes people out the running every time, and we're talking about risotto. We're making a fancy risotto too. This one will make you look so rich and fancy to your friends because we're making saffron butternut squash risotto. And not only that, with a little extra, honey glazed Brussels sprouts with pomegranate and pistachios. Yes. So you're gonna have like some floral notes, some bright nutty notes, really, really fall dish, a rich risotto, and then you're gonna have something bright and crunchy and mellow with the Brussels and the pomegranates. We're using our seasonal produce here that you're gonna find at your local farmer's market, like our butternut squash. You're definitely gonna find that. Pomegranates, Brussels are in season right now, so you might as well take advantage of that. All right? Today, we're all about making our lives easier, and you know, guys, I love a good hack. TikTok knows it, they know my algorithm. I love to make things a lot easier, right, Amy?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially with these big cooking holidays that are coming up soon.
Yep. Why add more stress to yourself, right? Like, I don't want to have 20 appliances going. I don't want to, like, worry about what's in the oven, what's on the stove, like, while trying to make sure your family is nice and settled in, right? So that's why we got our friends here at Aroma Cookware who's gonna help you with that. It's great for when you don't wanna turn on the stove, when you don't wanna cook at someone else's house, because not everyone has the best appliances for what you wanna do. You wanna make sure you have the best things out there. You wanna put out a delicious product where people are gonna talk about your Thanksgiving for forever, okay? Right here we have our beautiful, modern, sleek Aroma 20-cup digital multi-cooker. Yes, I said multi-cooker. And you're gonna be like, why did you say multi-cooker? It kind of looks like a rice cooker, but it's not that. This is a multi-cooker. You can do cake, you can stew meats, which I've done before in these multi-cookers. TikTok will tell you all about that cake. Oatmeal, why not make a richer oatmeal? And you can do rice, you can slow cook. There's just so many settings, y'all. Like literally rice, multigrain, soup. And let's say you're trying to saute something, but then you're gonna wanna simmer it in the pot, right? You can do it right in here. How magical. You're like, no way. This looks like something so familiar. Can we really do that? We can, and we will today. So we're gonna start by clicking this button right here, saute then simmer. I don't know if y'all can see that, close up, right there. Saute and simmer. And it's gonna warm up, y'all. Don't even try to micromanage this machine. You see how it has those clips right there? It's starting. It's about to warm up in a second. And as they're doing that, we're gonna start on cutting up our onions, cutting up our garlic, getting that ready. We're gonna put a little bit of olive oil into our pot. I would say about 2 tablespoons is perfect. And we're gonna get ready. Let's dice some onions. You can get 1 large onion. You can get a small onion if you wish. But I love my alliums, y'all. I love the smell of onions and garlic sauteing in a kitchen. It just automatically makes it magical. I would say this is one of the best multi-cookers I've used, y'all. I actually cooked this right before y'all got here, and it was kind of scary. I was like, risotto in a multi-cooker in 25 to 30 minutes? Is that even possible? But, y'all, it is. I took a little scoop. I snuck a little tasting, and it was delicious. Like, so good. The saffron is next level. I mean, you can't really go wrong with it. We're dicing some onions right now.
I love that you're going to be able to just be in that one pot.
Yeah.
You don't have to grab another one and make another dish.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, tell me all about it, Amy. Tell me how beautiful it is. It is one pot. Yes, one pot. And guess what? We get to have an excuse to go to one of our favorite spots or surf on the web on one of our favorite websites. I don't know about y'all, but Target, I love Target. Okay, I can spend a whole day there. What about you, Amy?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. My friends and I would just go around Target and basically browse as sort of a social hangout in high school.
Right.
So I think I still do that as an adult.
See, like while you get your holiday shopping on, you can do this online or in person. You can grab your Aroma 20-cup multi-rice cooker. And what I like about it is it looks so modern. It's gorgeous in your kitchen, right? It doesn't look like a big, clunky, typical rice cooker that you see in your like grandma's kitchen, you know? Y'all, if you can hear it, sizzling has began. Lots of sizzling. I wish you could see, but it's already getting it going.
Look
this
at
little
how
corner,
beautiful all those colors are right there.
all the fall colors, all the greenery. Y'all, we are sauteing these onions, and we're just getting them ready. Look at that. That's about one small onion. So that's up to you what you want to do. You can do the whole onion. I just want a little bit. I really want the saffron to shine and to be nice and bright. So I'm not going to use too much. But I think this is more than enough. And it's sizzling and it's ready. Have y'all worked with saffron before? Let me know in the chat. Tell Amy. Do you have any questions about saffron? You know, fun fact, saffron is super rare. When you get saffron, you're like, why is it so expensive? Why would I even use it? But this is a great holiday treat, right? You don't use saffron in your everyday life. It's actually it comes from a stigma from the flower. So the saffron flower is actually not edible at all. It's this vibrant purple flower with these red stigmas and a bright yellow pistil at the top. And you get 3 per flower. So that's why it's so expensive, because when they gather it all together, you get 3 threads if you get a good harvest. But what it does to your food is dynamic. It's floral, it's bright. You get almost like a honey taste with your food without the honey. And that's the beauty of saffron. You get a nice golden color to it as well.
I feel like I love that you
beautiful.
just need a tiny bit of saffron. You're saying
Yes.
it's an expensive ingredient because
Yeah.
it's so rare, but you also just need a little bit. So
Yes.
a little goes a long way.
A little does go a long way. You're totally right. And it's just, you got to indulge yourself a little bit, you know? But yes, you just need a pinch. So when you have that saffron, just keep it in a nice, dry, cool environment. Label it so you know when the last time you used it so you can guarantee your freshness. But yeah, a little pinch goes a long way, especially for this recipe. It is perfect. Look at it sauteing already, y'all. It's gorgeous. See? Already sauteing. And once we add all our ingredients, we're gonna simmer. So I'm gonna wait until the onions are a little bit more translucent, and then we'll get right to it. We're gonna cut up some garlic as well. We want a few pieces of garlic here to go along with our onion. Just gonna smash. and do a quick chop of this garlic to add with our onion, okay? Anyone have anything in the chat yet, Amy, about saffron? Anyone interested?
Yeah, someone just mentioned that they also love saffron in risotto as well. So I think this is a great pairing that we have going on today.
Absolutely.
Ooh, saffron succotash is another suggestion. That's an alliteration there.
I love that. And to get the maximum flavor of the saffron, y'all, I recommend steeping it for about 10 to 15 minutes, whether it be in your broth, in your milk, however you do it. Some people use saffron in dessert, so you could steep it in milk. In this case, right when we add in our stock, we're gonna put the saffron in as well. So as it cooks down, you can get that maximum saffron flavor. All right, so we got our garlic in here. Our onions are becoming translucent. We're gonna give the garlic like a minute or so. And then we're going to cut our butternut squash as we wait. So if you guys see first, I need to show you how beautiful these are. I don't know if you can see them, but this actually works. If I can get a close-up of these items real quick. There you go. These are some egg molds. Oop. There you go. These are some egg molds that you can use. So this is not just for dinner. You know, you can use this, make a nice stewed meat for the night. You can make it chili, rice. You can make a cake, but you can also make breakfast with it too. You can make almost like a sous vide egg, like the eggs that you get at Starbucks. You can make it at home and then freeze it for later and eat it for the rest of the week. What a way to save. But it's also super convenient too for someone like me where I have a super busy schedule. For my friends out there who have their kids and they're running around, you're already getting like couple of eggs, muffins at the same time. So I definitely recommend getting this along with your multi-cooker.
I love too that you can put almost anything in the eggs, right?
Yes.
So you just have your scrambled eggs and then whatever fillings you like, you can even do a couple different ones in the same little batch that you have there.
Exactly.
Also, Stephanie likes putting bacon in the risotto because life is hard and short. So I love that.
Stephanie, I love that. I love bacon. I also love pancetta. So if you got that extra buck, you're near your butcher's, get pancetta. It's a little bit more warming of a meat and a little fattier. If you're into that, I like mine a little fattier. So bacon, great compliment to something like a risotto. All right, I just put in some white miso, y'all. White miso, we're about to put in about half a cup of white wine, a tablespoon of white miso to go in there as well. And we're gonna put like a pinch of salt and pepper just to get a little seasoning. The white wine will definitely add a little depth to your flavor, and your white miso will give it that nuttiness, that sweetness to go along with your risotto, and just like a nice umami taste. I can already smell it. I know Amy can definitely smell it from
Oh yeah,
there.
I can start smelling that over here. Also, all these flavors, the saffron, the miso that you're mentioning, they're all kind of those subtle background flavors where you go, what is that?
Yes. It's so perfect, especially for weather like right now where it's kind of like in between cloudy and sunny. You kind of want something warming, but not too heavy. This is our butternut squash, y'all. I don't know if you've ever cut a butternut squash, but some people have your butternut squash. They cut it in half lengthwise, so that way you can roast. But here we're gonna cube it. So what I did was I cut it in half. This one has the majority of your like flesh of your butternut. And this one will have the seeds that you can use later, almost like pepitas if you want, like roast some seeds for granola or like a snack. But for me, I just cut it in half and I just shaved, took off the skin. You can cook it with the skin as well if you wish. But we're just gonna do some cubes so that way you can get something nice and vegetal into your risotto.
I love butternut squash so much. I'm so excited for this.
I love butternut squash. It's probably my favorite out of all of them. I love a kaboka, but this is next level. All right, y'all. So we're just doing some quick cuts here and throw them in there. So you can already see that The garlic is already cooked. Your onions are cooked. Our miso's going down.
There's a question about, do you find it hard to peel winter squash? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't find it that hard for me personally. This is what I do. So here's this right here. This is the bottom of the squash. You see there's still skin there. I just get a super sharp knife. Having a super sharp knife will be your best friend. You can always use a peeler too. I find that butternut squash isn't too difficult with that. You just want to break it apart into smaller workable pieces. But for me, this is a really sharp knife. And right there, I already peeled it with the knife. So I just go along the edge, kind of like how you would a pineapple. For me, I find that way easier because you're just going along the curves of the butternut squash. So it shouldn't be too hard. I don't know about the other squashes for you, but I think this makes it very easy. Just make sure you have a really, really, really sharp knife. But that also goes along, right?
Going with the knife versus trying to peel, for sure.
Yeah, the peel will be a little bit more difficult. So if you do the peeler, I would say make sure you get like a fresh new peeler that's like super sharp, but it'll take a couple whacks at it for you to even get to this level of clean skin. All right. So we're just gonna cut a few more squashes and I'm gonna throw it in there. And then we're gonna put in our albarino rice.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the rice while you're working on the squash?
Yes. So I would say be very careful with the rice, y'all. You really wanna make sure you get like a really nice albarino rice. I would say go into your grocery store, making sure it's nice and it's whole. Sometimes you see when rice doesn't have that, it's kind of like hard to work and you got to wash it a couple times more. But with the risotto rice, albarino rice, I would say it's really easy to work with. It's just when it's about timing and your portioning of your broths and how much this rice will absorb your broth. So as you're cooking this, I would say just watch it at a 20-minute mark and double check. The best thing about this multi-cooker is that it knows what it's doing. So if you open it prematurely and you're checking it, you're good to go. All right, we're just gonna throw this rice in here. We got the squash. We're gonna add a little bit of broth. And then saffron. All right, gorgeous. And look at that color, y'all. Here's the saffron. I forgot to show you. But it's like little, I don't know if you could see, but it's little flecks of red.
I love when you put it in, it was right at the top. You could see it. It was beautiful. Yeah. Chef, what was the ratio of the broth to the rice?
Yes, so it's about a cup and a half of this rice, and then it's about 4 cups of chicken broth, or you can use vegetable broth, whatever works for you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. All right, we're gonna close this up, and you see that the cooker is already working. It knows what it's doing. You don't have to click it, you don't have to click start or anything like that. When you actually put it in, you can feel how warm the bowl is itself because it's already it's cooking for you. So earlier, what I did was click saute, then simmer, and I clicked start. So you should be able to do the same thing, okay? All right, we're gonna close that up and get started on our Brussels.
Chef,
yes.
Someone wants to know what does saffron taste like. So how would you describe that?
Yes, I would say saffron is bright, nutty. It's bright, nutty, and I would say almost tastes like honey. If you let it sit for a little bit, at least 10, 15 minutes, it almost tastes like a honey, almost chamomile-like flavor. But
that floral-y.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But it almost tastes like slightly salty at the back end. That's a really beautiful part.
Its own thing.
It's gorgeous. All right, we're gonna get started on our Brussels sprouts here. And the cool thing about aroma is that it's just so versatile. Like you have all these settings. You can literally do breakfast, you could do lunch, dinner. Have you guys had saffron before? Let me know in the chat. What we're doing here is making our side that goes along with the risotto. So our risotto is cooking right now. It'll be done about 20 minutes. And as we're doing that, we're getting our Brussels ready. Brussels are kind of, it's like a hearty fall dish. A bit crispy and a bit bitter. But what's real nice is that when you cook it at a high temp, as bitter as these Brussels are, I don't really like them shaved. Some people like to shave them, put them in a salad. You get that bitter tone. But if you don't want that bitter tone, just cook it at a high temperature, and it should be nice and sweet and mild vegetal flavor. A lot of people like to pair it with honey and balsamic, which is what we're doing today. And it's gonna be nice. We're doing champagne vinaigrette, shallots, the whole nine.
Chef, we might need to restart your the risotto. We've got a little circle going on there. Might want to just hit restart that button.
It's on the setting.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this
cool. We
is...
just wanted to make sure you're having success up there.
No, you're fine. Yes, so it's still warm. I know it looks a little bit crazy, but I swear, look, I'll show you again, just in case if people are curious. But it will kind of look like that. So, again, start, and it'll saute then simmer. So you're gonna see the STS right over here. It'll blink and say STS, and it'll start cooking for you.
Awesome.
Yes. That's what, this machine is so smart. I swear to you that it knows exactly what it's doing. Earlier, I was a bit nervous when it did have the STS and it had that snake bubbling around, you know, but it will change its setting very soon.
So do you make Brussels sprouts for holiday meals, or
Yes.
what do you have coming up for the big meals coming up?
Y'all, I love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite time of the year because I make it a Friendsgiving. I don't know about you, Amy. Do you do Friendsgiving too?
I am very fortunate that most of my family lives close by, so I usually get to have Thanksgiving with my relatives. My sister-in-law, who's also a chef, is hosting this year, so that is always special because she goes all out.
Nice. I do love Brussels sprouts. I like to fry Brussels sprouts. Not very healthy, but I love to fry them and toss them in a little bit of honey, just like we're doing today.
I love roasting them where they get all the layers. It's almost like you could peel them and have all this sort of individual toasty layers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's just nice, and it's just very hearty. And what's great is it's full of fiber, so you get some nutrients while you're getting your greens. And it's
You have
just...
some agreed fans on fried Brussels sprouts.
Fried Brussels sprouts are heavenly. You're
Yep.
so right, Stephanie. They are heavenly. So glad to see you cut the base. It's so tough and leathery. Yes. Yeah, you got to trim them. I'm so sorry that you went to a restaurant that didn't trim them. You definitely have to trim the bottom. I can't even imagine eating it without the trim on the bottom. The cooker looks like a flux capacitor Back to the Future. Yes, best, absolutely the best peeler. No issues peeling squash with one. Good. Yeah, it depends. Sometimes when you peel it with a squash, it doesn't really work well. But sometimes if you're able to do that, you have a sharp enough peeler, that's great. I love that for you. Great in an air fryer, nice. And with this one, y'all, we're about to steam them. So I'm just cutting a few Brussels sprouts here. We're about to throw them in this rice grain cooker right over here. It's nice and warm. I'm about to throw them in there. I would say after you do a quick wash, you put a 1/4 cup of water in there as well.
So there's some folks also who are saying they love Brussels sprouts with like a maple syrup glaze. I know we're gonna do some honey in ours later. Are there other flavors that you like with your Brussels sprouts?
Yeah, I would say, what we're doing right now is pomegranate. Pomegranate is a lovely, lovely flavor. Right now I'm adding a 1/4 cup of water to the Brussels sprouts. And right here in our multi-cooker, I'm just gonna press cook. Okay? Do y'all see it? There you go. It's red, it's cooking. Okay, sorry y'all, we're out for a second there. And we're back.
Ooh, honey and balsamic.
To cooking. Yes, honey and balsamic.
Yeah, I think that's a little similar to we're doing honey and then our champagne vinegar, right?
Yes, balsamic, shallots. I would say go to your grocery store and have fun in the vinegar section and look at all of the different balsamic glazes people are doing. There's like a blackberry one, champagne.
Fun in the vinegar section. Sounds like it's
my favorite.
It's we need a segment on that.
Yes, it's my favorite, y'all. I love it. It's just so good when you do it that way. I mean, there's 20 different types of vinegar, so many different flavors. I mean, why would you not want to like get into it, And you can play with the olive oil. I would say definitely look for a good olive oil, y'all. That is so important for a dish like the Brussels sprouts because we're about to toss them in and you really want that nice, I don't know how else to say it, but that olive flavor in the back of your mouth as you're eating the bright shallots, the vinaigrette. All right, y'all, we're about to get these shallots cut up and pickled real quick. We're just gonna do a quick pickle before we make it our vinaigrette. Not a big fan of Brussels sprouts, but I love butternut squash. I love butternut squash too. Y'all, you see me cutting this shallot. I really want it nice and fine because with these shallots, it's gonna go into your vinaigrette. Gorgeous. You want kind of like this brightness. You want a little pucker to it.
Chef Lisa, just
Yes.
a little update. We're doing a little TV magic here.
Yeah.
We've overloaded some of our power, so we're
Yeah.
just restarting the multi-cooker and getting going to make sure that we have that. But it might have slowed us down a little bit on
No worries, y'all.
on
You know what the
that.
beauty is of TV magic and me testing it earlier because I was scared. We already have beautiful risotto in the fridge. So I will show you what it will look like when you do it at 30 minutes. So trust and believe you might not see it pop out of here, but I did use it earlier and it was gorgeous. And it's gonna taste delicious. We're gonna put some parm and we're also gonna put a little bit of thyme. So even though we're a little tight on time here, we're not gonna be tight on time in here, okay?
I'm so glad that we have that TV magic one to taste.
Exactly, there you go. So we got our shallots here, y'all. I'm gonna put it in our vinegar, our champagne vinegar, and do a quick pickle. I really want those shallots to get that extra flavor. So we're gonna let it sit for like a few minutes.
Can you tell us a little more? You said quick pickle. What do you
pickle.
mean when you're saying that?
Yeah, you're really not doing a real pickle, right? Like where you let it sit for like a day in room temp and then slowing it down in the fridge, right? That's what we typically do when we're in a restaurant, when we're pickling something, right? We're doing like a vinegar, sugar base, a little bit of water for some, and then you put your veggies in and you kind of like submerge them and you let them sit and you're just gonna let them build that up and then you put it in the fridge to slow it down and you get that nice pucker. But with this one, you want just a slight pucker, especially with the champagne vinaigrette. It's not as harsh as the other vinegars. And the shallot has just like that nice bite to it. So you kind of want to reduce that bite, have a little sweetness, and it's just going to be a combination of both. So we're just going to do a quick pickle. So it's just going to sit in the vinaigrette for a second, absorb that pucker, and reduce your bitterness with your shallots. And y'all, look at how gorgeous this olive oil is. You want this to be a nice, deep olive oil.
Oh, that is some pretty olive oil.
Gorgeous, gorgeous olive oil. And then we have some honey. Now, y'all, I don't know if you've ever ran into the problem. Sometimes I forget that I even have honey in my cabinet. And when it gets cold like this in Seattle, like when there's a day where it's like 50 or 60 degrees, it crystallizes, okay? My house is not as warm as I like it to be. I'm no longer in Georgia, okay? The humidity does not protect my honey. So what do I do with the crystallized honey? It's not bad, y'all. The honey you can microwave within 30 seconds, and it's back to normal, to its gorgeousness. Okay?
You can also keep your honey somewhere warm in your kitchen. So like
That
maybe
too.
above your refrigerator, your stove, somewhere
Yes.
that's letting off some heat.
That is so smart, Chef Amy. I'm so glad you said that because I like to keep my house cold. I don't know why. I like to be in hibernation mode. It's fall, so I'm ready to just like get nice and plump and warm and be under my covers and just watch like scary movies and I just don't like when my house is really warm, but that is so smart to put it above your stove, to put it in your microwave, however you want to do it. That is how you could save your honey. I'm about to just mix this in together. Let's add a little bit of salt and pepper in here. Salt, pepper. Let's mix it in with our shallots here and our vinegar. So this is about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You have about half of a medium shallot and just a pinch of salt and pepper, y'all. That's all you gotta do, nothing too crazy. And then we're gonna add in this honey here.
Chef, how are our Brussels sprouts doing over there?
It's looking good. I'm about to check them in a minute or two, but let me do a quick stir, just so that way they're not sticking at the bottom. But what's gorgeous is that you have this water and it's steaming for you. It's gorgeous. Maybe a few more minutes on this cooker. I would say about 4 more minutes. Let's check it then. But we have our vinaigrette and our shallots together already. And we're just gonna put this to the side. So just do a little quick stir. Honestly, I might just put this in the microwave for like 30 seconds because my honey is sticking a bit. So give me 1 second,
It's
y'all.
just trying to proof of concept that you were saying with our
It
cold honey.
is. You're so right. I love that you said that. You're so right. Y'all have, the olive tap is my favorite for online vinegars. Yes, tell me what your favorite vinegars are.
Yeah,
I
there's
love
some
a good
great
vinegar.
vinegar discussion going on.
Love it.
Sicilian lemon and mango white reserva. Some
What?
really nice sounding balsamic
Mango
vinegars.
white reserva?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and then just some other places where you can get different varieties of vinegar.
Y'all are so generous. Thank
folks
you
are
so much
loving
for
balsamic
sharing.
too, though.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to check out some of those recommendations you guys have for us. That's so sweet of y'all. I'm about to take my honey out.
Chef, you mentioned that you have the algorithm going, showing you some of the trends. What are some of the things you're seeing that you can do with your multi-cookers that you've been interested in?
Y'all, I got to say, TikTok is really great. It shows you so much of what you can do. So I would say you learn how to make a cake in this multi-cooker, right? It's not just for dinner, it's for dessert. And there's just so many things you can do with it, and you don't even have to worry about spraying your pans. That's what I used to mess up a lot when I would make desserts or cake, is the pans, the sticking. And I would hate cleaning it up. That's the worst part. And sometimes parchment paper was not enough. Sometimes it would kind of burn the bottom of your cake. But with this, it's ceramic, it's nonstick, which is great because that's such an easy way to clean. And I mean, that's my favorite part about this. You can clean it real easy. And not only that, it's very versatile, chili, multi-grain. And sometimes when you cook rice, like I love to eat this Korean rice where it's like black rice, brown rice, there's beans in it, multi-grain. And with regular rice cookers, it just does not do the magic that I want it to do. It actually kind of makes it crispy on the bottom. And other times, like the beans just do not cook, and I can't stand it. It's never good. But with this one, I think it really does the magic. I was so surprised when I made my risotto earlier. I did not think it would cook it through because risotto is really hard to cook. But I think this one, everyone can make your risotto. It's beautiful. It works so well.
I think everybody will have success with that. I love the idea of, like you said, cake. So doing sweets in there as well.
Yes.
Someone asks, what do you think about bread? What do we think that would...
I would say maybe you can do focaccia. I could see a focaccia working in this. I would say it depends on your bread and the proofing. If you go on Aroma's website that Amy has put in the chat, I bet you there are some recipes to reference that are really, really easy for you to do. I mean, obviously you can get this anywhere, but they have a bunch of recipes, I'm sure, that you could check out. Like, you can get soups, you could do anything in this. But yes, I would say maybe a focaccia could work here. If not, you know what's a good one? I think you could do a good potato bread in here too. Yeah, you can definitely do something like that for sure. What's nice is I think you could do some crispy rice. I do like to do a little crispy rice. You get some of your leftover rice, you have it in here, you cook it again, and you get that nice crisp bottom, almost like a tadig. And since you already have saffron, you can add a little bit extra saffron oil in there. Make it really, really nice. And it fits in your kitchen. That sounds so good. Yeah, it's really good. What about you, Amy? What do you think? What do you think they can make in here? What kind of breads or cakes?
I mean, you know, I'm a baker, so I always tend towards the sweet side of things. But I think you could do some really good, like a sticky toffee pudding kind of situation.
Yeah,
so
that sounds good.
Going with that steaming action that you want, it gives you that right there.
Yes, a bread pudding. That is so smart. You could definitely do that. Y'all, our Brussels are ready. Let's get a fork to see if they're fork tender. And look at that. Gorgeous. If you can easily stab it, you're good to go. You still want a little bit of bite. You don't want it to be too soft, y'all. All right, I'm gonna get a slotted spoon for this real quick. And here are our Brussels. Nicely steamed. We're gonna add our vinaigrette here to toss. Look at that. Oh, how gorgeous. And we're gonna add a few more things. What is great with a salad like this or a side like this? You need some nuts, you need some crunch. So I'm gonna do a little bit of crunching here real quick. Let's get some pistachios. You can put any type of nut you wish. I love pistachio with this. It's nice and coarse, and you just get like this slight sweetness to it. A lot of flavor.
I love pistachios. I love this balance too, the pistachio with the Brussels, and then spoiler alert that you're gonna have some pomegranate coming too.
Yes, we're gonna have some pomegranate, and I just like to crush my pistachios right here and there. You don't need to do a bunch. I like to see how many I can get. See, little 5, 6 pistachio nuts are perfect for something like this. And I brought a bowl to show you what you could do with the pomegranate. So here's our Brussels.
Ooh, pomegranate magic coming. I can feel it.
Yes. Some people say that it's much easier to just do a little cut in half here. You're just gonna break it apart in a bowl with water. You can't tell, but there's water in there. Any type of water will do. And you're just gonna break it in there so that way it can catch all your little arrows, as they call it. Just gonna pluck it out, and they're just gonna float up in a second.
I don't know about you, but I like with the pomegranate, getting your fingers in there. It's like a really nice tactile experience, digging out the arrows.
Oh yeah, I agree. And I just like kind of breaking apart in water too. It's kind of fun because then you just fish them out and you're good to go. It kind of dusts off what's around the pomegranate arrows. And here you got it.
I like doing that when you're separating seeds in a squash too. So if you took out your butternut squash seeds, you can put that in some water and then use that to help you get your seeds so you could roast them later.
That sounds gorgeous. And here we go with our pomegranate arrows on top.
So pretty, those colors.
Look at that, y'all. Pistachios. Pistachios, Brussels, champagne vinegar, and a little bit of good olive oil does the trick.
Yum.
Now, since our breakers weren't working, I will show you what this risotto looks like. So by this time, about 20-25 minutes, I would say check your risotto. You kind of want it al dente. You don't want it so soft where it could turn into mush like mashed potatoes. You want it with a little bit of bite. So that's what you want. Let's go check. And this is what I cooked up earlier, y'all. Look at this goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Nice golden yellow from the
So
saffron.
pretty.
You get your butternut squash pieces as well. And let me just show you how we're gonna plate this real quick so that way you can be the talk of the town.
I'm sorry I'm saying it over and over again, but these fall colors together are so lovely too. That contrast of the risotto with the Brussels sprouts.
Right.
Sprouts.
So since you're not able to see it on here, what you would do when you're at your 20-25 minute mark and you feel like the texture is perfect, you're gonna add some butter, about 4 tablespoons of butter, and you're also going to add a little bit of parm. I like to add some cubed pieces of parm, so as it's warming up, you get like a nice, delicious piece of parm, but you can also just grate it. And we want some herbs. We want a little bit of fragrance to add to it. So I'm adding some thyme. I like to take out all these little pieces of thyme, add it on top of there so you have a little bit of green. And then we're just gonna add some of our grated parm. And there you have it, y'all. Your risotto. Yes. Our goal is to make it like a nice, rich, stocky risotto. It's not as creamy. The creamy flavor comes from the parm. But yeah, this is what we're wanting today. Y'all ready for a taste test?
Yes, tell us all about it, Chef.
Let's do it. The miso adds a little umami in there. The thyme is like nice and beautiful. It goes so well with our saffron, which makes it super rich. And I like to have a little bite of our sweet, of our butternut squash here. Nice and vegetal. It mellows it out. And let's get our Brussels. I'm gonna grab a little shallot, palm, and a little pistachio. That is so gorgeous, y'all. Nice crunch. You get that bright flavor from the pomegranates. And nice olive oil really does the trick with your shallots. And I'm glad we paused and pickled it really quick. You gotta have this. This is going to be a favorite at Thanksgiving. And this will just take 30 minutes, y'all. 20 minutes here, 6 to 10 minutes here, and you're good to go.
So
just
nice
2
to have
appliances.
something being taken care of while you're going with everything else that you have to do on Thanksgiving.
Exactly. All you're doing is putting the ingredients in there bit by bit, and then once you close this, you are good to go. Thank you so much, Roma, for partnering with us for this series, and I want to thank you all for coming to this chat, talking with us, sharing the vinegars, and I hope to see you next time. Our class is on Thursday, spinach, feta, turkey burgers, and squash kale soup with Chef Krista with the American Diabetes Association. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye.